a speech. So have you made presentations? Have you ever thought that this presentation is the worst in my life? This teacher, I don't know, you started hating your teacher because he always had a straight face, spoke only on a subject. All of us have those teachers. We hate them. And there are some teachers, even though their content perhaps is not the good, not the best, even if you don't score the best in their subject, you still like some teachers? Because they connect well with you. Right? So, I don't want to get more in detail how does humor benefit, and I will just put in these lines, these points, I would say. That one, it helps lighten the mood. Would it? Does it help lighten the mood? Right, it does. So, break the ice. So, I am here for the first time, and most of you are new faces for me. It will be difficult for me to connect with each of you. So, let me start off with a joke. Let me ease all those muscles on your faces, make you start smiling, and that will make it easy. Yes, even if it's a hostile crowd, if you have a hostile audience, these people are just waiting for you to finish that, they want to bash you up, looking at you with all this look, and then just lighten it up. Right? So, does it help retain the listener's attention? So please remember that the listener is not sitting there with a care that he has to listen to you till the end of the speech. You have a care that you have to retain their attention till the end of the speech. Yes, now whenever I try and say something which I believe is funny, there's something that we can all we'll analyze each of these jokes that I'm cracking on the process as to why they become funny and what is it that makes us laugh. Okay, so it helps drive the point. I'm also a teacher and I do a lot of group discussion, person interview training, etc. So when I give this training on group discussions, I tell people that please be sure that you don't overdo leadership within a group discussion. So I try and say that don't be a traffic cop. Suddenly you want to showcase, you want to highlight, or you want to be sure that your presence is felt by the moderator. So all of a sudden you become a traffic cop. You start looking at the boss and say, okay, you've spoken enough, you stop, now you start talking, now you start talking, and then suddenly you look at the moderator and you notice. So this is where, as a teacher, while I'm definitely exaggerated and I said, no one is literally doing this, but still the idea that you don't overdo is still driven and still stays back in the head. So does it help drive the point?
Yes.
So when all of you have read your CC manuals, all of you, do you know what a CC manual is?
Yes.
So
There are many guests.
okay, so we need to give more. Because one small recommendation or request, let's put that. If you want to communicate with me, please use your vocal parts rather than visual expressions. At any point in time, I can't look at all the faces and figure out what you're trying to say. As it is, my wife believes I don't read her face well enough. We go to a jewelry store and then I see the expression on her face. The moment I know that the expression is coming, I actually don't look at her. So it's not that I don't read it, it's just that I pretend not to read it. And so it leaves an impact. So eventually, I know a lot of people who still remember the humor speech I gave, come back and talk to me. Different people remember different elements of my speech. It feels really nice. And you, like for example, Rajshekhar, let's say the one who's known. It's not that Rajshekhar is the only one who's been giving speeches, but why is Rajshekhar so popular? Because he is funny and he leaves an impact in our minds. Right? So there's a message that is left, but along with humor. So Rajshekhar does a very good job of it, and helps get be remembered. Now, what are the types of humor? I'm not going to get into too much theory here. There are certain types of humor. One is slapstick silliness, the Goldman type. People are walking behind, they fall, I don't know why they fall. And there's a few kids laughing. Look at them and like, okay, if I don't laugh, they'll think my IQ is less than theirs. So I also better laugh. So I was joining that, okay, something. Okay? So that's slapstick silliness, and then you have the storytelling and narrating. In a speech, when you're giving a story, an incident. When you say narrating, storytelling doesn't necessarily need to be a whole story. It could also be an incident. Let's say there was an incident where I and my whole family, all of us went to Rishikesh. And why would anybody go to Rishikesh? A lot of devotion. So I and my brother. Grappling, exactly. So I and my brother went, all of us went, and then as soon as we reached and we were supposed to get up in the morning, both I and my brother developed a stomach problem. At least it was stomach ache. So because it was only between us, we said we both winked at each other and said, stomach ache, Amma, we can't come. Not possible. You guys won't come, you bless us, God came to ensure the stomach ache is gone. And then mom and dad left and I and my brothers fed. We said, okay guys, we go out and have fun. So we went and I have a fear of heights. I'm acrophobic. I have a fear of heights. So we went and then I was looking at people doing bungee jumping. You know that there's bungee jumping everywhere?
Yeah.
So my brother, so we were looking at like, see fellows, you don't have anything to do like, I couldn't do it. So I was telling myself that is silly. I looked at it, funny, and my brother came with 2 tickets of bungee jumping. I looked at him, what is that? He said, next, you. Good one. Joking, right? Right? So my brother was actually serious. He actually got 2 tickets for us. And so when I narrated this incident for you. This is one way of creating humor. And additionally, there is intelligent humor, which I am pretty sad at, which I cannot do very good at. But let me try and mix this additional things of sarcasm and dry. I don't talk about them much because in Toastmasters and when giving speeches, sarcastic humor doesn't go very well. Not just in Toastmasters. Right? So it's not well recommended, so I just put it aside. But since it exists, I just put it. Recommendations to avoid being sarcastic. But let me try and involve this intelligent humor with sarcasm. And something the arrogant me sometimes just comes out and he portrays his sarcasm. So I was speaking to this Airtel customer care very recently. And I was trying to explain to him an issue that I had. I told him in Hindi. He didn't understand. So then I started talking to him in English. Then he started responding in half English, half Telugu, half Hindi. And I said, okay. Alright, let's hold on. After I say okay, if you want me to continue speaking English, please say English. Please say English. So I have to actually do it. Because this is a key I don't know. So I said, please, at the moment I say okay, just declare which language you prefer. So I was very sarcastic. All of us are laughing. If that person were here, all of us would have been laughing at it. So it's recommended not to be very sarcastic in speech. Right? So that is dry humor will let people talk with absolute straight face. You don't know the joking after like maybe 10, 5, 6 seconds and they pass the comment. And those people also, it's a talent. It's very difficult to have such dry humor, but that is what it is. And then moving on. What are the tools that we can use to generate humor? And here is where the question comes in. We spoke of people, whether you generated humor or whether you tried humor before or not. So what are the tools that we can use? So first thing is, please act. Try to remember that you just cannot narrate an incident, you have to enact it. Like for example, I was telling you about the incident between my brother and I. So I was telling you exactly what kind of happened. Not that I actually went and did a bungee jump and show. But at least some kind of enactment where it is easy for people to understand what actually happened. Do you think it makes sense? Do you think it will help? Right? So use your body language, use your facial expressions, and use voice. Now, have any of you had the misprivilege of seeing my speech, the one that I gave at the division conference or the district conference? A few of you have. It's on YouTube. You can just YouTube Shashank's speech, Shashank's face speech, and it will be the first result. See it and tell me it is good. So if you have any other opinion other than it being good, sorry. Only if you are my evaluator, I give you the privilege of giving it back to you. So just watch it. There's a lot of body language that is there. There's a part in my speech where I'm just talking about how my father reacted when I introduced Sanjeevi, the girl I was about to marry to, then. So I go home. My mom and dad introduced Sanjeevi to them at once. And then my mom suddenly, like the typical Indian mom, he picks her up, hugs her, kisses her, and then takes her home. And 4 aunties in the building get to know. By the 5th minute, my brother who's living in Australia is speaking to her on Skype. And all that happens. And while all this is happening, I was so scared when I was about to introduce her to them, and I was very scared. So I was like standing in a state of shock. And then I slowly realized that my father is also standing there. I slowly turned and looked towards him. My father and I had a lot of things in common. And that day, I got to know one more. Because he too was. So there's no dialogue in here. The humor is not coming from a dialogue. The humor actually coming from body. So use your body. You know Brahmananda, you know the Indian Telugu comedian Brahmananda. So he generates a lot of laughter and a lot of humor just because of the size. He takes full advantage of the way he looks. So maybe I should also try doing that. Facial expressions, use a facial expression to accentuate your point. And then use voice variety. I think few more examples as we keep seeing, you'll figure it out a little more. And let me also tell you about that there is no formula for generating humor. While at the end of all this discussion, these are various tips. It's not like, here is your function, f of x, y, z, put these variables and then here comes your output, chalo here is a joke. There isn't a fixed formula. These are just some pointers which you can use. Alright? So this is one, moving over. Now what can I do with the content? I've been speaking about certain things. Let's look at content a little more. So one thing. First thing is to break patterns. How do we generate laughter by breaking patterns? What do we mean by breaking patterns? Anyone?
Speaking something unusual.
Now, have you seen Mrs. Doubtfire?
Yes.
Enjoyable experience? You laugh?
Yes.
You didn't laugh in the movie, then you should meet a psychologist today. And if you have not watched Mrs. Doubtfire, you should watch Mrs. Doubtfire. So, there's a scene in which he's supposed to be dressed like a lady and he does not have his face pack, it falls onto the road. And there's a lady who comes in. Do you know that scene? Then he's in the kitchen, he doesn't know what to do. All of a sudden, he just puts the cake on his face and walks out with all the cream on the face. And so, what is so funny about that incident? What is it that makes that incident so funny? The fact that no one puts cake on the face. Right? And then the lady who comes in like, what is this? She says it's a new, he or she, I don't know what to say. This is Doubtfire, right? So, he says it's a new face pack which is used for making you look beautiful and then she goes and applies some on her face. Right? So this is about breaking patterns. You talk about things which don't normally happen. So if I were to tell you, or like I said a little while back, please when you crack a joke to me, ensure that that joke is meant for a person with IQ of not more than 80. That is when I can laugh. Please don't crack jokes which are meant for people with IQ of 180. Then you know about IQ? You know how IQ is measured? IQ is intelligence, right? Quotient is basically measurement. So a person with less than 65 IQ, for my fellow people, don't look down at them, okay? We belong to one category. We come under the mentally retarded people. Right? So below 65, so just about mentally retarded is where I think I stand. So if you crack a joke which is like all the way about 180, I won't laugh. So when I make this statement, I'm saying I'm exaggerating a lot. I don't, please, by any means don't think I'm mentally retarded. I'm obviously exaggerating. So you want to be sure that while you have an exaggeration and an understatement, you're exaggerating it, or you can make it extremely sure. Show yourself as somebody who's an absolute nitwit, who's got no intelligence whatsoever in the world, etc. So that is another way of generating humor. These are tools. Play with words. Pretty new faces. And just a little while back, use something about pretty new faces. Well, was it play of words? Just use play of words. There are a lot of possibilities that are there. A lot of opportunities that are there. And has any one of you seen Who's On First? The video Who's On First? Oh man, this is a stress buster. Really, you want to go into first thing today is watch Who's On First. Even if you forget everything that I tell you today, I don't have a problem. But remember Who's On First. YouTube it. It's a black and white video. So basically, who is a person? Right, so there's a question that is asked about who's on first, and the answer is who. So who's on first? And like, why are you asking me? I'm asking you. Tell me who's on first. Okay, fine. Who's on? This is about baseball. You know that there are 4 corners in the baseball thing, right? So who's on the second? So that is basically what. So there are funny names. That's a lot of humor that is generated based on just play of words. Play of words very powerful. Compare and contrast. You keep comparing. So there was again a bit I keep referring to my speech. If you see it, I think it will make a lot more sense. There's a time when I compare 2 kinds of friends. So all of you have got friends?
Yes.
Yes. If not, again, you know who to meet. As a doctor, you need to meet immediately. And so all of us have got 2 kinds of friends. All of us have got friends. So there are 2 kinds of friends. The first do these people react, how do these people react. And again, the 5%, 95% is definitely is an exaggeration. There's no doubt that there's a lot of exaggeration in humor. And it's fine, it's absolutely fine. Unless you cross that barrier of think of that inhibitions that what if I go and maybe I'm overdoing it on the stage. Anything on the stage can only be underdone, not over. So don't worry about it. Except in sarcasm maybe. But otherwise you're absolutely good. You can go and do whatever body language you want. Unless you keep falling on the floor is not what you want to do. You keep walking and then you fall and say, why did you not laugh? Then you fall again. That is not what I'm talking about. But yes, you can generate a lot of humor in those. Then mismatch of expectations. So when I say I had a career ambition and my career ambition was always to be a house husband. So what am I doing there? I'm trying to, when I say career expectations, I'm trying to talk about my career expectations and people suddenly think, okay, now this guy is going to come out with something really brainy and something he wants to do life, and then I suddenly say it's about to be a house husband. So you mismatch expectations, you create an expectation and then you give a twist. Like create expectations, give twist. Build it up, drop. So we talk about build up and drop a little while later. I don't know why it happens only with me kind of thing. And then the most important thing, the timing and delivery. How do you deliver a speech? So joke. So has it happened with you that you gone and told somebody a joke and didn't laugh? It happens with the women. They're like, joke. It was a joke, we have to tell them. Please be a little more kind. So you should do some charity towards me. No, you know, where does charity start? At home. Charity starts on Facebook. Let's throw one like. Let us put one comment. Let us put one share. Charity has all of a sudden changed. It does not change at home. Start at home. Start at Facebook. So, delivery and timing very important. So, how do you deliver the joke? So, as I said, you need to create a build-up. You need to create some build-up and then you have to deliver the joke. So, there are small elements that are there in a delivery and they are primarily the build-up. So, I and my brother went somewhere and then suddenly this happened. And then suddenly this happened. So, you are giving the whole build-up and then tada, you will drop them, you put them somewhere, you're expecting something like an, let's say, maybe a James Bond walk out of the room and then suddenly somebody else comes out. Right? So, you are building up and just before you give the punchline, just before you actually drop the balloon, just before you actually make it, what do you do?
Pause.
You pause. Why do you pause? You want people to continue thinking. See, when they are listening to you, they are not still imagining. You want to give them a gap, a minute or two to imagine and then give them the twist. Tell them which is unexpected. Right? And then why do you pause after the punch?
To actually understand.
To laugh.
Don't you want to let them laugh? I actually committed this mistake in the district conference. There was a joke that I did and I continued it. And then I was actually speaking out the laugh. Like a little while back, when the gentleman, the presiding officer was welcoming on stage. I don't know how many of you heard it when he was telling you that I'm the area governor and I'm the winner, because we already started clapping. I'm not blaming you, I'm just saying it happens. My idea is not to put down so that is not what I'm supposed to do. Stop listening to him. I'm not saying anything of that sort. I'm just saying that you always have to give some pause. In a humorous speech, definitely a pause for laughter. Agree? Yes. Again, visual expressions. There is some practical ways. So then the pause. Moving on. How do you generate this? How do I generate content? You're saying you have to give us a good joke, you have to make a joke out of, this is how you have to give the joke, you have to build up, then you have to pause. I don't know how to write a joke. From there on, I do all this. You give me a joke, then I try all this. So, that is the bigger challenge. How do I write a joke? How do I generate the content? Right? So, if you are absolutely new to humor, I would say just go by what you're reading. Go by what you find on the internet. It's absolutely fine. There's no problem. Today I found something on the internet actually. And yeah, this is what I read on the internet. I found it really nice. It says, marriage is a workshop. The husband works and the wife shops. I said, marriage is a workshop. Did I take a break? Before I said what it is. So this is the pause. The husband is the works, so I'm again building up. Again I'm giving a pause. And then So, but the moment I say the husband is the one who works, half of you will guess. I don't want the pause to be for too long. I immediately go back and say, okay, now if you guess it quicker, you're not going to laugh as much. And I printed this joke. Has it happened with you?
Right.
That somebody is giving a joke and like, hey, I'm a joke. What? And then you suddenly feel like I'm the biggest intellect possible in this country. Suddenly you feel as if I should go and give Mensa. I think I belong to the top 99% of the countries of the world and so on. Right? So how do you generate content? First things first, it's okay to use jokes that are available. You never know, it can become a part of somewhere else. You can always use it. Let's say I read this joke about workshop. And then I say that I and my whole team went to US for a conference. And then while I was doing all the work for a workshop, and I was doing all the work, my team was going shopping. And I can always use a joke in a different situation. It's highly possible. And I'm trying not to use old ones. I'm giving you ones that I observed today. Because all of us find these things. So it's a good place to start. If you're new, no problem. Because one of the fears that you have to try a joke is because maybe my joke will be a disaster. Maybe no one will laugh. But at least it's a good joke. You know that it's a popular one. So try it out. At least you know that it's a good joke. If not, then if you give a bad joke, there's a high probability people will laugh. But the problem there is people won't laugh at the joke. They laugh at you. So it's okay. And it's okay when you're standing on the stage and you're cracking jokes, you don't mind what they laugh at. You just laugh. Okay, I'm here to entertain. If you're writing your own material, if you're going to make your own jokes, observe and observe. Look at things differently. Look at as many things as differently as possible. Now, let's say I want to talk about some experience in my life. And let me give you an example about observe. Okay, so have you encountered cases where people, when they're very irritated and the computer is not responding, they give a whack at the monitor? Have you seen that? Or do you need somebody to come and say, hey, joke, note it down? You have to observe it. Right? There are a lot of funny things that happen. Then, like for example, I can make a statement now saying that the security at Deloitte suffers from paranoia schizophrenia. They want my PAN card, then they do what all checks on me, then he made me remove everything metal on my body, put aside. Then I walked in and beeped. Then he started using metal check. Then he metal detector, then also it was beeping. He said, okay, sir, go. That's the sound, right? But why not doing anything about it? So, observe. If you have to make this joke on security, you just have to observe. No one is going to come and tell you, hey, every time in your life, you're not going to have a Google glasses. That if something funny is happening, your Google glass time must happen. Then everyone will get excited. Observe everything, every awkward situation you've been a part of. Imagine that time when you were introduced to the girl's father for the first time or the boy's father for the first time. And then he had the look on his face which was like exactly how you look at, you had any Viva experience in your life? Your father is like asking a question and then, uncle, nice house. What's your salary? Asian pigs, uncle. So, observe and try to see, it's a very awkward situation, right? When your father-in-law is asking your salary and you're like, what's the, you have nothing to do. Make fun of it, no problem. Every awkward situation that you've been a part of, trust me, is fun. No doubt about it. It's just about fixing. And no two ways about it. Every awkward situation you've been a part of can be made into something very fun. Alright? Then, and when I say write it down, I really mean write it down. Whenever you come across something new, something funny which you want to use, write it down. The two things that I definitely don't trust in my life is one, my luck, and two, my memory. This memory of mine has screwed me every time at the right time. So I go to the exam hall and suddenly, which exam is it today? So I thought social studies. I had all these funny experiences in my life. So don't trust your memory, write it down. And one great man said that even in comparison to a great memory, a small pencil is far more powerful because with which you can make an impact and leave an impression. Right? So write it down. So please write down things as and when you come across something new and funny. Write it down. Right? So moving on. same lines for then the next thing, personalize. When you're saying a joke, be sure that the joke is something that can be personalized. As in, talk about something which is with me, with you. If I start cracking a joke of how an investment banker feels, and let's say there's an intelligent joke that happens about investment banker said, I think I want to go for futures, and this guy did something in options. We're not going to laugh at it because we just don't connect to it. Right? So there's no point in trying to crack a joke on something which we cannot personalize or something which we cannot all relate to. And again, localize. What do you mean by localize? Now, in this humorous speech contest that I gave, I was at some point describing about when my ego kept going up. Actually, in the whole story, my ego keeps going up notch. So at some point, it goes to the peak, and then suddenly, Balakrishna and Rajnikant become me. So at every stage, I had to change whom I become. At the national level, when I was giving it at Pune, I had to replace it with Sanjay Dutt and Salman Khan. I really want to look for some very controversial hero who does things with arrogance, and Salman Khan goes shoots people and shoots some animals and something. So I have to localize it. I have to understand my audience and accordingly localize. Then be specific in your speech. As in, if I was saying that I was talking to a person and that person was walking the road, if you have to really connect, if you have to really visualize what's happening, I have to give you specifics. So he's 35 years old or a 50-year-old or a 70-year-old guy. So when I give you specifics, it helps you visualize and relate to the joke even better. And so just don't be clear on localizing personalize, you also have to be very specific. So that I can understand really what you're talking about, I can really visualize. And that's when the fun comes out. So these are certain things that you can do, or these are things that you should do, some do's. One, the audience should relate to it through you. So if I were giving a speech on how a mother feels, how will I know how a mother feels? So, I'm giving the wrong speech. So it is through me. So I have to give a speech how a father feels this, how a husband feels this, how an employee feels this, because you always imagine me in that situation. Right? So try and remember that the audience should relate it through you. Create suspense around it. What am I going to say next? If you make it absolutely clear, then people are not going to laugh. So if I said some joke on the lines of then the idea that I'm trying to get to is if it's very predictable, people are not going to laugh. Right? So make it fun by creating some suspense, exaggeration. When I was giving my speech, trust me, I was feeling extremely awkward that I'm overdoing it. I'm going on the stage, I'm shouting yes, yes, yes and everything. I was feeling extremely awkward doing all that. Because that's not me. I don't go around every day shouting yes, yes, yes on the road. So, but on the stage, when you have an audience of let's say 500 people, in fact, my antics today would have just gone double or triple had the size of the audience been at least 5 times. But just got double, but just increased. Because if I have to, I need to catch the attention of everyone. And it's absolutely okay to exaggerate. I'm saying it again, I said exaggerate even more. There's no limit to exaggeration. Go ahead and do it. Be prepared but not rehearsed. Difference? Am I explaining words or is there a meaning difference?
You may forget something you rehearsed.
No, it's not what it is. When you rehearse, it's like action, you say. Right? So when you rehearse, you have controlled every single line and every single word of what you're going to say.
By heart.
You by heart it, don't. At least in humor, let the words come naturally. If I had by hearted my whole presentation today, I wouldn't have been talking about what gentleman said to Nauyani and what the security guards did. Right? So I would just wouldn't be doing that. So I cannot be completely rehearsed, but I need to be prepared. I have written down and spent time making these slides, exactly what I'm going to talk on each slide, what are the example jokes that I'm going to give. I thought of few if I don't get, so that's when I'm looking at it, because I want to give good examples. That's more the idea, not that I fall short of jokes or anything, but I want to give the right example right here. So be prepared, but not rehearse to an extent where, see, because when you rehearse, how do you rehearse for how much time you have to give for laughter? How do you know how long people are going to laugh? So in your rehearsal, you have given 10 seconds for people to laugh and they laugh only for 1 second. 9 seconds, you're looking at them in their face. I expect you to laugh for longer. Why are you not doing what you're supposed to do? Because of it's their care, like I said earlier. Now again, speaking of the scary things, again that's breaking the pattern. People have never associated or given the word carriers with audience. Right? So that's again breaking the pattern. This laughter that comes out from breaking the pattern. Attack yourself. Make as many jokes as possible on yourself. People know. See, I have made myself sound like an absolute fool, a person who's actually loved the girl only because of her qualification, because she's from Ahmedabad and she's got this and that. I've made myself sound like a person who's the last person you want to make friends with. It's okay. People know that I'm exaggerating, and I hope they know I'm exaggerating. That's not actually me. So it's attack yourself more. And even if you're trying to tell a joke, let's say for example, I hope anyone of you know Ajit Devgn?
Yes.
Very few of you know. So Ajit Devgn is a person who's a little heavy. He's got some points. This video should not be seen by him. It's a little stuff. So I actually call him and apologize to him.
We think you're a little heavy.
Yeah, I am very heavy. So Ajit is, I am heavy, then he's some 2 times of me. So very recently I was at the PMOD at the Toastmaster meeting and he was there, and then I was thanking him for having given a speech and he decided to hug me. No. This is a little difficult. So I said, okay. My mom said you should be brave, but doesn't mean this is beyond bravery. I need a life insurance before I do this. Right? So you were there recently. That's what happened. So now if I'm actually cracking a joke only at Ajit, and I don't say the fact that I am also fat and I'm also a part of the problem, then it doesn't really go very well. That I don't attack others only. Even if I do, be sure that you're also part of the attack. Don't attack only people. Others don't actually enjoy it. Be in mind and understand the audience. It's important to understand the audience. Like I said, I can't crack jokes on how a stock market, stock market guys will understand. None of us. Try and understand the audience, keep the audience in mind. Okay, now I always have called public speaking an art. This is something that I keep doing very often. The reason I call public speaking an art is because what is the purpose of art? Art is not only to showcase something. Eventually, is it about communicating? Is there some message? Is in the art form? Every art form is an expression. It's about expressing yourself, right? So is it public speaking a form of expressing yourself? Yeah. Okay, when do you call a dance, a song, or a painting good? When people like it? When you understand. Well, that is now, modern painting is something difficult to understand. But at least I think a few people who say I understand. Like again, you understood, okay, I was so now the understanding is different. But at least when majority of people like it, we call it a good song. Yes. Right? So is a good speech something which is liked by most people?
Definitely. Yes.
Can singing be learned?
Yes.
Can public speaking be learned?
Yes.
There's so many commonalities. Is it okay to call public speaking an art? Yes. So it is. So it's an art form, and there's a critical element here because the relationship between the speaker and the audience. The audience is a critical part of the game. You have to understand the audience, keep them as a prime focus in making the speech. Right from the subject to the kind of jokes to the message to pass. If I talk about a message in this room saying how hard you should study one day before the exam, this will be the last speech to give to this audience. Then none of you will give exams. I'm not saying that you don't know or you know at all. I'm saying that you won't give exams. It's a non-case. Understand the audience. So certain notes, never apologize for bad joke. I don't know how many of you have done that. Have any of you done that already? Avoid it. It's okay. If people don't get it, that means they have not got it. It doesn't mean you have not given it to them properly. Don't worry about it. It's okay. So they are the IQ levels below 65 times, right? Don't worry about it. Just look at it and say, hey, 65 levels. I don't mean you, right? I just meant this chair, right? You. So it's okay. It's okay if people don't get a joke. Don't ridicule others. I think I've said this more than once. Don't be over stylish. If I'm talking absolutely sophisticated language right here, it'll be difficult for you to know how much. So it is. You don't be extremely stylish. You don't talk in this Hrithik Roshan accent. You have like this and then like that. So some people actually be very stylish and say it's fine as long as it's a normal speech. But if your objective is to give a funny speech, people don't connect with you the moment I know that you way above me, I stop connecting with you. The moment I stop connecting with you because I think you're way above me in terms of class or whatever, style and etc., then I'm not going to relate with you. If I talk to, I don't know how many of you are from Ahmedabad, anybody from Ahmedabad? So if I give a speech on how life is in Ahmedabad, with using all about Ahmedabad, it won't work. Okay? So please be sure that you don't be over stylish. You have to, there should be no disconnect. The disconnect should be very, very small, not much. Yes? Right? And then underestimate the audience. So never underestimate the audience. So never overestimate the audience, because if you leave something without saying, without it being easily understood, I think you're doing yourself a big harm in the process. So if you say a joke on, let's say like this. Okay, I can actually give you a decent one itself. These are a few of these, most of these are my own. Like this one says, I bought myself a book on overcoming procrastination. I'll read it sometime later. Right? So if the procrastination is a word I'm sure most of you understand, but if it's a book or something which you don't understand, and still say it, then I'm kind of overestimating your